Hi guys, hope you guys are all having a great day today. In today's video, I'm going to cover the whole entire market in terms of Dow Jones, NASDAQ, and S&P 500, including the economic calendar. I'm going to go over the investor sentiment, then the technicals first, and then the economic calendar. But I'm just going to go through a quick overview for the economic calendar first, and then in details later on, and then so on and so forth. So in terms of investor sentiment, it's kind of interesting because we have it decreasing on the bullish side for some reason week after week. Only reason why I'm saying interesting is because personally I think the next administration is going to be good for the economy. It's going to go up, but that's just my personal opinion. And we've seen the bullish sentiment decrease week after week. So since December 25th, the week of December 25th, it was at 37.8. Then it decreased the week after, January 1st, 35.4, then 35.7 for January 8th, and then the week of January 15th, 25.4%. So now it's lower, and it was lower than historical averages since 3 weeks ago, but historical average is at 37.5. So interesting stuff. And then the bear sentiment, so to the downside, has been increasing substantially actually week after week, and we're at 40.6 right now, and historical average is at 31%. So interesting stuff. So in terms of investor sentiment, they're expecting in terms of more downside to come, right? Now, I will say this is for the next 6 months, but still interesting stuff. In terms of economic calendar, just quick overview. The markets on the U.S. side will be shut down for Monday for Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, and then the rest I'm just going to go over. But basically, we have PMI on January 24th. But I'll come back to this soon. I just want to go over the technicals first, and then I'm going to go over the economic calendar remaining. Now, in terms of technical stuff, I will say it's kind of showing potential upside, which is pretty interesting for all three, S&P, NASDAQ, and Dow Jones. If we're looking at the S&P 500, looking at specifically ETF SPY, which is the ETF for the S&P 500, same thing, just different ratio, basically closed at $597.58 on the Friday. And if you look at the one-year chart right about here, the MACD line indicating potentially more upside. Right now we are in the bullish movement, bounced off the 50-day moving average of the one-year chart, plus the volume has been increasing and more on the buying side. So technically this could be a level, since we passed the 50-day moving average, could be a continuation to the upside, especially on the NASDAQ. I want to show something on the NASDAQ. It broke a level plus bounced off two levels. Pretty important that I think upside is coming. That's just my personal opinion. Please do your own due diligence and research before buying and selling, not a professional. But I do like to share this information because this is how I trade personally. I trade based off of technicals, news, all that stuff, and I think this information is pretty beneficial overall. Now, if we move over to the 5-year chart, you could see that we are in the bearish movement, so technically downside, but you could see the conversion could be going up to the upside potentially soon, relatively speaking, because the shade has become a lighter shade of red, plus technically arching up, plus volume has increased more on the buy side, nice red green candle, and again, above all three moving averages. And then for the alt chart, it's not really beneficial right now, but for the time being, it's in the bullish movement. And then if you're new to the channel, we have this upward trend resistance line dating back since 2010, and upward trend support level dating back since 2010, and as well for these two major crashes. Just covering them just because even though it only has 2 touch points, maybe by the time we come to a third major crash, it could potentially bounce off this upward trend support level, which would be nice because then you could technically have a nice entry position point and expecting to bounce up to the upside. Not a guarantee, but potentially, especially with this 100-day moving average pretty much falling right along this actual upward trend support level, but we'll see. And then mind you, doesn't mean that with this upward trend resistance line, the market's not going up. It was actually still going up the whole entire time. It's just more encapsulated underneath the upward trend resistance line. But this is for the S&P. Bullish movement for all chart. We still have more room to grow. Doesn't necessarily mean we will be going up to the upside. We've been in the mid zone and dropped down to the second support level, or the first support level technically, and then bounce back up. But we'll see. Now for the NASDAQ, the reason why I say it's pretty interesting, I'm looking at ETF QQQ, ETF for the NASDAQ, same thing, just different ratio, closed at $521.74. This is the interesting part. So in case you're new to the channel too as well, same thing as the S&P, upward trend resistance line dating back since 2010, upward trend support level dating back since 2010, did break through in 2020 to 2022, and then came back underneath, was stuck, all that stuff, and then a couple false breakouts and all that stuff. But the update is 1-year chart, MACD line in the bearish movement, potentially crossing over to a bullish movement. Interesting stuff. Volume has increased, but more on the sell side. But it's strange. But the reason why I'm saying strange is here's the upward trend resistance line dating back since 2010. Again, a couple false breakouts. We broke through, bounced off as support, all stuff. but we were underneath it and then broke through it again, and we're past the 50-day moving average and actually slightly came back down and bounced off the 50-day moving average plus the 2010 upward trend resistance / support level, and then broke through this downward trend resistance line. And if it holds true, it's an actual breakout, I think, in my opinion, especially given the 1-year chart trying to potentially cross over to a bullish movement. The only strange part is the volume has increased, but more on the sell side, but yet still has gone up. Kind of strange, right? That's the only thing I'm perplexed by a little bit. But then if you're looking at all the data points plus the technicals, it looks like upside's coming. And again, I'm a fan of the new administration, and I think the economy should be doing well. So I just don't understand the sentiment in the beginning parts of this video that was in terms of data points. But we'll see, right? Nobody knows for sure. Just basically hope for the best for the most part, right? And then if you look at the 5-year chart, volume has increased in terms of the 5-year data, and the volume has increased, but more on the buy side, right? Versus the 1-year chart portion. And the technical is in the bearish movement, technically not necessarily showing a slowdown, but right now it's in pretty much a 50-50 limbo to potentially cross over to a bullish movement sometime soon in the near future, or continue in the bearish movement. But I think given the 1-year chart, given the cross-sectional portions, I think it's potentially going to continue to the upside personally. Plus we look at the all chart, same thing, bullish movement like the S&P, all this stuff. Now, in terms of the Dow Jones 1-year chart, MACD lines in the bullish movement, and then we're about to cross the 50-day moving average. So interesting stuff, right? Because technically, in my opinion, if it passes the 50-day moving average as well for the 1-year chart with the bullish movement, plus the S&P and NASDAQ are showing upside, potentially basically for the most part, then I think the market overall will move up together, right, to the upside. Not necessarily always the case, but I think it potentially could. We have a nice green candle, 5-year chart. MACD line is in the bearish movement, but again, we're above all 3 moving averages, and nice green candle. And it looks like it might be crossing over to the bullish movement sometime in the near future. And then the all chart is the same as all of them, where it's in the bullish movement still. And then it technically was trying to slow down a little bit, but it looks like it's reversing to the upside, not reversing to upside, but having a nice strong upside push. So giving all those factors, in my opinion, I think this would be the case. Volatility index right now is currently at 15.96. And in terms of economic calendar, just to go over quickly, we have, again, Monday, nothing scheduled. Again, markets will be closed for the US side. And then for Tuesday, January 21st, there's nothing scheduled. Wednesday, January 22nd at 10 a.m., we have US lead economic indicators for the month of December. Previously 0.3, this time around 0.1 expected. And then Thursday, January 23rd at 8:30 a.m., we have initial jobless claims. Previously it was 217, this time around expecting 215,000. This is for January 18th. And then for Friday, January 24th at 10 a.m., we have existing home sales coming out for the month of December, previously 4.15 million. And then this time around expecting 4.2 million, as well as at 10 a.m. we have consumer sentiment final for the month of January. And previously is 37.2, this time around expecting 37.2 or 73.2. Sorry about that, I read that backwards. 73.2 previously, this time around expecting 73.2. And then at 9:45 a.m. for both of these, we have S&P Flash US Services PMI, which previously was 58.6. This is for the month of January. And then the S&P Flash US Manufacturing PMI for the month of January, previously was 49.4. But yeah, that's basically it for today's video. If you guys did find it beneficial, consider dropping a like. It does help out the channel, so thank you so much for that. And consider following and subscribing, because I do upload these weekly. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully you guys have a great trading week, and hopefully the markets go in your favor, right? Because it depends on how you play the market. But thanks again for watching. Take care. God bless and peace.